there, Retro Games fans, this is Andy C from Piece of 8, but welcome to this week's The Bit Between, and we're going to be taking a look at Stunt Car Racer on the Amiga this week. Now, this is a game that I did talk about reviewing a couple of years ago, not long after I started the channel. I talked about games that were coming up, and this was one of them, and yeah, 2 years later we finally get around to it. Now, the reason why it's taken me this long to get to it is because, well, we haven't really had a look at the Amiga in great detail until this month. So as part of the month with the Amiga 500, I felt like now was a good time to review Stunt Car Racer. Why? Well, I think this is the best port of this game. Despite it being available on the Atari ST, Commodore 64, MS-DOS, ZX Spectrum, and later on the Amstrad CPC, I still think this is the best version of this particular game. Now, Stunt Car Racer was released in 1989 by legendary British developer Geoff Crammond, and it was published by Microprose, Microstyle and Microplay labels in the UK and the US respectively. And Geoff Crammond, you may know him from the Formula 1 racing simulations. He was pretty well known for that, but before all of that, he created this futuristic game that was set on this ridiculous kind of roller coaster track suspended high above the ground, and this was like nothing we'd ever seen on a home computer ever before. Concept is pretty simple. You race these hot rod style powerful stunt cars around these twisted elevated tracks, and there's huge jumps and drawbridges and steep drops, tight corners, dramatic banking, all of those kind of things. And the catch is that there are no safety barriers in many places. Make a mistake and you plunge hundreds of feet to the ground below. And for 1989, that was pretty thrilling stuff. Now, what made Stunt Car Racer particularly impressive was its use of 3D graphics. 3D polygon-based graphics, I might add, at a time when racing games really relied on sprites, scaling tricks. This game used 3D polygons, which was an incredible thing. And the frame rate, as a result, does suffer a little bit. It's not exactly silky smooth by modern standards, but for the late 80s, this was an incredibly ambitious game. The Amiga version, which is the game we're having a look at today, is generally regarded as one of the best ports. I think it's the best port. The machine's extra processing power essentially allowed for smoother gameplay, more so than the 8-bit versions, and it gave a sense of speed and elevation that really helped to sell the illusion. The game was also surprisingly deep. Rather than just racing for lap times, players did compete in a league system. You could climb divisions, defeat rivals in head-to-head competitions, and it gave the game a real sense of progression and made every race feel kind of important. Critics also really liked it. Contemporary reviews scored it in the high 80s and 90s, and it was praised for originality, its gameplay, and of course its technical achievement. Even today, I think people still mention it as one of the defining racing games of the Amiga era, certainly. And you can still see its influence decades later. A lot of modern stunt racers and track building games definitely owe a little bit of something to the idea of these impossible elevated circuits. And many retro gamers, myself included, still regard Stunt Car Racer as one of the finest racers of the time, and certainly one of Geoff Crammond's finest creations. My memories of this, like many of the Amiga 500 games that I've looked at, is me going around and playing this with my friends on my friend's Amiga 500. There was a lot of fun to be had with this game. Really, really enjoyed it. Lots of laughter and silliness and things falling off, and lots of crashes, and it's quite a tricky game. This may well be a bit between game demo review suicide, really, playing this game, because it is incredibly difficult to come back and replay, and as a result it could be a very short playthrough. But I have played this game actually quite recently. I played it on a few different platforms as well, so I'll talk to you a little bit about that. But with all that said, then let's fire up the old Amiga 500, or in my case the FSUAE emulator for recording purposes only, and we'll see whether this gravity-defying classic still holds up in 2026. Let's get into it. Right then, let's dive into this. We're going to keep this fairly simple, because if I try and do some of the complicated tracks, I'm going to get into a mess. We'll start on these. Let me just show you around the game a little bit here. So if we go to we go to cancel and just come up to the top of the menu here, so we can start our racing season. So we could do that if we wanted to. Obviously we've got the ability to save at the bottom, and then we've got our Hall of Fame. We're probably just going to do some practice just so you can get a feel for what's going on in the game. But if we dive into the racing season, you can see here we've got well, we're sort of dived into it here anyway. Let's give it a go. Let's just do it. Let's just do the little ramp anyway. So let's have a go here. You can see we're going to get lifted up onto the track. So this is the one I was going to do anyway. So rather than just do a practice, let's just do an event. There's two reasons for that. One is that I think it could be quite fun to play a career one anyway, and two, if I press escape on my keyboard, for some reason it cancels my recording as well as bringing me out to the menu. So there we go, there's our rival there in front. Now if I've got a little boost here, I can press that. So playing with a joystick, well I'm actually playing with a PlayStation 4 controller here. Yeah, but I'm using the joystick control, which is the best way to play this game. Give it a little jump over here. Now, you see I've just slowed... Whoa, oh my days. Ah! Right, you can see at the top of my window there, you probably just didn't spot it. There's a little sort of... above my window, you'll see a little crack appearing. And if that gets basically... Oh, I'm at a boost here. Yeah, basically what happens is... Uh-oh, I didn't go fast enough. Oh, you can see at the top there, look. I've got a hole there now. I think if you get 3 of those and it cracks all the way across, you're pretty much done for, essentially. So it's not going very well here, is it? But I think if I pull back on my stick, it brakes. Not as in reducing speed braking, not just brakes my car. And then basically you push forward on your stick. If I press the fire button, then I get a little boost there. Oh dear, I managed to brake my car just by going around. Quite sure what he's doing up there. It's difficult to tell. You don't want to kind of go too far over there. Oh, that was actually perfect. not by planned means. I don't think I'm going to win this somehow. Corner here. Oh, I flew off. This isn't going well. You can get a little view of the track from the side there as well if you want to. Obviously you come off there and you get winched back on. This isn't going very well at all, is it? I told you I wasn't going to be very good at this. What we'll do is I'll show you some of the other tracks in a minute. And you can see even on the Amiga the frame rate is not exactly amazing. It's okay. Oh, I just made it over. And I'm going to be too fast at the top here. I'm just skirting with the edge. And you've got to imagine as well, if you think about this game, you were playing this game in 1989. You know, bearing in mind at the time, you know, this is NES era. So to see sort of 3D graphics like this at the time was pretty cool. I thought this was amazing, and I was playing this game probably, I guess, in the 1990s, probably 93-ish. Yeah, like I said, we didn't play this game for very long, and at the time, you know, we'd got other games like Lotus Turbo Challenge 2 and things like that, which, oh, I lost the race. And also, well, I didn't quite break my car. You know, we were playing Lotus Turbo Challenge 2 and things like that, and they were obviously, you know, really, really pretty looking games. But this was pretty unique. There wasn't really anything else like it. Don't know why there's people standing around in their underwear, but yeah, we'll just go with that. Am I doing? Oh, I'm doing another race now. All right, well, let's dive into this one then as well. Okay, this is called the Humpback. What I do want to do after this is just kind of show you some of the more complicated tracks, because it gets quite involved. It's quite impressive stuff, but let's have a quick go around here. Let's see if we can actually stand half a chance of winning. So I've got my foot to the floor. I'll go accelerate straight away. How did he manage to get in front of me? The graphics for this remind me a little bit of, there's a game called Hard Driving, which I remember playing at the arcades back in the day. And it does remind me a little bit of that, you know, these polygon style graphics. You know, obviously not lots of detail, because you know, computers really weren't up to it. Bearing in mind, when you think about the sort of platforms this was on as well, I mean, obviously this is on the Amiga, pretty powerful for 1989, yeah, a lot of other, oh dear, you know, when you think about playing this on something like a ZX Spectrum, now I'm pretty sure I've played the ZX Spectrum version of this. It's not the greatest experience in the world. I'll tell you that much for nothing. I don't even know it. I don't even think I realised it existed until I had a look at the Spectrum a little while ago, and I managed to find a catalogue of old ZX Spectrum games. Sorry, a catalogue of old ZX Spectrum games, and I was looking through and I spotted this by accident, I think, and I couldn't quite believe that a game like this was on there. But I don't remember it being much good, if I'm totally honest with you. I'm doing all right here, actually. Let's have a look. He says, yeah, completely lost all traction there. I don't know where my rival is, but I am currently ahead of him. I would say him or her, but I'm pretty sure it was him, actually. Oh, that's bad. You see, oh, my car getting trashed. And these banked curves are always one to judge. But this version is definitely a lot better. If you look at even the MS-DOS version, I played the MS-DOS version, and you know, it's not quite as bright. It's a bit more janky. It's okay. It's probably the closest that one that I played to this. And at the time, I only really had the option of playing it on the PC. I never really had the option to play this on the Amiga. So that's the version I dug out. And I figured it'd be quite similar, but it is actually a little bit different. It does look a bit different. This just seems to play better, despite what you would probably consider to be a terrible frame rate. And it's not the recording; it is actually the frame rate is that bad. But for some reason, you sort of get used to it. You kind of adapt to it. And the weird thing is the controls are pretty responsive, so it actually doesn't seem to matter too much. It's going to be bad. Crunch. Oh, I'm nearly in trouble here. I'm going to have a busted car in a minute. Can I make it all the way around before he catches me up without me absolutely destroying my car? Did it look a fair bit of, you know, there is a fair bit of strategy involved as well. It isn't just a case of just racing your way around the track. You have got to be a little bit strategic. You know, you've got to judge your speed carefully. You've got to make sure you get around the corners. You know, especially when you're racing, obviously you're going to be trying to stay in front, but at the same time, if you go too fast, you're going to trash your car, or you won't get a corner and you'll fly off around the side of the track. So, you know, you do need to be... There we go, we won! Hooray! Don't know if I'm still controlling this. Yes, I am. Crunch. There we go. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure whether that means that we can... yay! There's a different animation there. Look at that. On top of my car, cheering away. 2 points for me. There we go. Race 4, 1, 2. Race 2, 1, 1. Race 2, 1, 1. I'm third in the division. And then we've got the little ramp, and we've got a race Roadhog. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to show you this one because I've already done it. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to race this guy, finish this league, and then I'm going to show you a different track. So bear with me, and we'll just do a bit of a cut, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the next race. Well, more of it. I'll show you a demo of one of the more advanced tracks just so you get a feel. I'll see you there. Right, so yeah, I completed Division 4 and got promoted, and then couldn't work out how to get back out to the menu, so I've had to restart the game. That wasn't before I ended up getting demoted, as I pressed escape through every single one. I do remember some of these people that were in these leagues as well. I do remember a few of them. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do something a little bit crazy. We are going to try we're just going to try one of the tracks in one of the higher divisions. So far what we've seen is just sort of little humpbacks and those kind of things. And, you know, as you saw in the race there, you have to find kind of a balance of speed. Obviously, you've got the boost as well. You have to just be a little bit careful about what you're doing to make sure your car doesn't get wrecked, but also that you're fast enough and that you don't end up also flying off the track as well as damaging it by going too heavy over the ramps. You get the little holes that appear in the top of your window frame and a crack that appears across the top, and every time a crack goes all the way across, it makes another hole. Obviously if you have a major crash, you get to one of those holes, basically it lives, and essentially I think once you've got 3 of them and you crack your whole windscreen, that's it, it's game over. So you get wrecked at that point. So let's have a look at one of the more advanced tracks here. So I expect this to be a bit of a disaster, but we're just going to go for a practice. So let's do the drawbridge, I think. Oh, we're doing the, oh, okay. Apparently, I'll just press fire. We're going to do the ski jump. So you can see much more complicated than before. I think it's because I used the D-pad. I think the D-pad is just the same as pressing any button. So I think that's why it did that. But let's have a look at this one anyway. We're just going to have a quick look. So this is the ski jump. So as before, obviously I can press forwards and that is accelerate, and if I press any of the buttons while I'm accelerating, I get this little boost of power. Let's see how long I last on here, and then once I've done this for a little, once I've had a couple of laps of this, we will wrap up and I'll tell you what I thought of the game. Okay, so already much more complicated, a bit more twisty. And I'm significantly higher up than I was before as well, so a fall here is going to be much more problematic for me. Oh, I didn't actually incur any damage there when I did that. Here we go. And what's on the other side of here? Oh, that's going to be bad. Crack. I don't even know where I am. Into a bend. Obviously, I'm not racing, so I can be a little bit cautious getting around here, but sometimes you've got to have enough speed to get over a jump. I think one lap on this is actually quite long. Let's see what happens if I absolutely boost it over here. This is probably a mistake. Oh my gosh! This is going to be bad. Crack. Oh, you can see that, and straight off as well. What a disaster. Well, I said let's have a go anyway. So I incurred little holes. You can see there on the top right hand of my screen there, I've got a little hole that's appeared, which means that I'm basically a life down for all intents and purposes. All right, let's carry on around here, nice and low to the ground here, so it's not too catastrophic if we fall off. Oh, that was a lap already. That was actually shorter than I remember. I seem to remember this track being longer than this. Okay, so that was our ski jump. So I assume there's probably... Oh! What happened there? I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Crunch. So a lot more challenging. Obviously, you can imagine as well if you're racing on these. Oh, this is bad. Gone skyward. Ah, let's stay on the track. Yes. Obviously, if you're racing, you've got to be a little bit more daring. You can't afford to just take it easy around here, so you've got to get your foot down. Oh, that's bad. Crack. I assume that with that one, I don't know whether you've got to absolutely floor it to get around there or what. I'm not entirely sure. You probably have to sort of judge it at a certain speed so that you catch the hump, so you don't sort of end up just crashing nose first into the track. Not entirely sure. I mean, I would have played this back in the day, but I don't necessarily remember doing it. All right, let's complete this lap and then let's go and have a bit of a wash up. And I'll let you know what I thought of the game. Do let me know as well as I'm playing through this, or when I do the wash up at the end, what your memories of Stunt Car Racer. Did you play the Amiga version, or did you play the version on a different machine, on PC, or even on the ZX Spectrum Commodore 64? Intrigued to know what your memories of this are for this absolutely incredible game from the 80s. I can't quite believe this is from the 80s. Like I said, it does remind me, there's another game that uses these sort of polygon style graphics, which in the shape of hard driving, which I remember seeing. Oh, that's bad. There we go, we're wrecked. That's a good a place to finish as any, which is a game that I absolutely thought was incredible at the cinema. Oh, it's a lovely sound of metal and things breaking. So very few games like this, but whenever I saw them back in the day, I used to think they were really realistic. But of course, yeah, maybe not so much so now, but there you go. Okay, all right, let's go back and I will do a bit of a wash up and let you know what I thought about, I nearly said hard driving, what I thought about Stunt Car Racer on the Amiga 500. I'll see you back there. So this could be interesting. I'm going to try and drive at the same time as doing the washout, which is probably going to be a mistake. And I'm playing a Division 1 track as well. This is the other one that I was supposed to be doing, and it's called the drawbridge. You can see the drawbridge moving up and down there. Oh, this is already utterly disastrous. Oh my days. Crack. Do you know what? I got away with that. So there you go then. So what do I think of Stunt Car Racer on the Amiga 500? I think it's brilliant. It's great fun. I think it's one of those ones that's difficult to score today versus back then. So I think if you were scoring this back then, I think you would definitely be scoring this in the sort of high 90s. So, you know, we'd be looking at 4 stars, or 4 parrots, I should say, 4.5 parrots. It's difficult because obviously in this day and age, you know, the frame rate is poor. You know, the graphics look dated now. So it's a difficult one to score because, you know, what are we doing? Are we looking at this as a game, you know, in terms of its impact and merit? Or are we looking at this as a game that maybe we want to play in 2026? So it's kind of different in this particular instance because I think this game has aged quite badly. Is that fair? It has aged. It has aged and it is difficult. The frame rate is problematic for sure with modern games. And, you know, a lot of the 16-bit games of the same era, you know, they're a lot smoother and easier to play. And like I mentioned earlier, you've got games like Lotus Turbo Challenge 2 and games like that, which are really, really good and still very, very playable today. I think this game does struggle a bit. I do struggle a little bit with this game. Oh dear, that was bad. I do struggle a little bit with this game, but I don't want to mark it harshly because it's just a victim of time. And I think this style of 3D game does age quite badly. And if you play a game like hard driving, I think you will also find you know, that has also aged quite badly. Well, I know it has because I've played that game. Ouch! Oh dear. So I am going to give this. I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 because I don't think it's fair to be harsh, but I am going to put a caveat on that, which is, should you go back and play it in 2026? I would say probably not, unless you're an original fan of the game. And don't get me wrong, this is a very, very enjoyable game to play. I really have enjoyed coming back to play this. It is really quite a lot of fun. However, I think there are games out there that have aged better from this era that are more fun to play. Oh dear. So I'm going to give it 4, but I'm going to give it 4 almost as a contemporary 4, I think, rather than a, you know, should you play it now kind of a 4, really. Oh, look. Oh, and it's actually 4 holes in my windscreen. And yeah, oh, this is going to be a problem. How the devil am I going to get over there now, given that is there a reverse? Oh, there is a reverse. Do you know what? I didn't know that. All right then, let's give this a go here. Didn't do it. Rat. Oh, it's 5 holes. I got 5 holes in the top. That doesn't make any sense at all. So there you go. That is it. So that is my verdict. I think if you are going to go back and play Stunt Car Racer, you should definitely go back and play it on the Amiga 500. I think this is still the definitive version for me. Whenever I played it on any other version, I've enjoyed it less. This is very, very enjoyable. It is still a lot of fun, but I think it has aged, and I think you'll probably find if you're going to do some races on the Amiga, there are better ones to go back and revisit. But I think as a game, in terms of its impact and what it achieved and its ambition, well, I mean, it's incredible. It is amazing, and it achieves so much with so little. And for the time, this was mind-blowing, and I loved it. Even in the 90s, I think this still looked really, really good. So yes, fantastic, and it really was a trailblazer of a game. Lots of cool stuff. No particular soundtrack in it, but the the actual in terms of there's no music, but there is some good background audio, and the crashing and crunching and smashing noises are fantastic. And yeah, playing a game like this just felt really, really cool back in the day. It's, I hate to say it now, because I can't imagine why I would have thought this game looked realistic back in the day. Say with hard driving. I think with hard driving, that style of game, I think certainly in the arcades, the way that you played with a force feedback steering wheel and a proper gearbox and all that kind of thing, I think that's what made that feel real. I think the game itself, I don't know if that ever did feel too realistic as indeed with this game, but it's the sort of 3D nature of it, that kind of point of view position that you just really weren't used to back then, which I think makes this game loads and loads of fun. So fantastic game. If you remember it, go back and check it out. If you're intrigued, go and check it out. If you're coming to it for the first time, maybe as a curiosity, go and check it out. But I warn you that I think you might struggle with it. I think it is a very hard game anyway, and I don't think that's the reason why you might struggle with it. But I think the frame rate and stuff like that now it is a little bit janky. But I don't want to take too much away from it, because it is fab. It is fab. So there you go. That is it for this week's The Bit Between. Now on Friday, I'm going to be looking at a rather controversial topic, and it's a topic that kind of still rolls on now. So it's whether the Amiga is better than consoles. So I was going to imagine some people watching this, it's going to be getting their hackles up, but the hackles, what is it? Yeah, yes, I think it's a valid question, and I'm going to be looking at a few categories and discussing what the consensus was, not my opinion necessarily to start with, but what the market consensus was of that particular thing. So we're looking at graphics and sound and all those kind of things, and I'll also give you my opinion on it as well, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So we'll be talking about that, and I'll let you know what I thought was best. Now, it's an interesting topic, because nowadays it's all about whether it's PC or console that's best, or which particular console you like best, and it's been Amiga versus Sega. So there's always been room for a bit of a debate about what's best at doing what. So we'll cover a few topics, but I think the PC and console thing today is quite analogous to the Amiga and the consoles back in the day. And of course we also had the Atari ST on the scene, and that was a bitter rivalry as well between Amiga owners and Atari ST owners. So we'll be exploring a few of those points on Friday, and it's going to be an opinion piece, and I'm going to try and keep it as balanced as I possibly can, because I know this is going to almost certainly upset a few people. So please join me and let me know your thoughts on that topic. But yes, that's what we'll be talking about on Friday. So that's going to be the main thing. Obviously, we'll continue with the month with the Amiga, and we'll be looking at some more Amiga games next week in the bit between, and a couple more Amiga features before we get to the end of the month, where we'll be telling you what it's been like to live with this fabulous machine for the last 4 weeks. So I just wanted to say as well, thank you so much for your engagement last week on my video about why the Amiga was such a phenomenon in the UK and Europe, and yeah, it was an incredibly popular video. I hadn't quite expected it, so thank you for all your comments. I am trying to work through them. I had so many. It's the most comments I've ever had on a video. I like to try and respond to all my comments, so apologies if I haven't responded back to you yet. I will get round to it, I promise. Yeah, it's just going to take me a little bit of time to work through. So I'm loving the engagement. Thank you so much for everybody who's engaged with it. I can't believe how many views that video's had in such a short period of time. So that's incredible. So I might lose all of that goodwill this week when I talk about what's best between Amiga and consoles, but we'll see. You've got to do these things. So yes, thank you so much for watching. Please do hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy this channel and you enjoy these videos. Hit that bell icon as well to get notifications for anything future, so you don't miss out. But it's been great to chat with you as always. Hope you enjoyed that. Just leaves me to say, until the next time, please do all take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.